week's episode. Hello again. Welcome to this week's episode of Monday Biz Motivation with the Culver City Chamber Ambassadors. I'm Candance Simmons, owner of All That and More Boutique. I'm your chair ambassador. I have the pleasure of hosting with Rafia Cooper of Rafia Jewelry. She's also an ambassador. The Culver City Chamber is a connector of resources, people, and ideas, and this platform was created to do just that. We want to connect you with some of the amazing business owners here in Culver City that actually serve the Culver City community. So with that, I will turn it over to Rafia, and she will introduce this week's guest.
Hi, Candance.
Hello.
Thank you. You know what I love about this is that we really truly let our audience know that we are live.
Nice.
All the bugs, we iron them out live.
Unscripted, we're live.
Anyway, so welcome again to another Monday Biz Motivation. And for those of you who are watching, please put your comments there and we will answer your questions and get to you as soon as we can. So today we have one of my favorite people. When I was doing my live shows from my office, she was, I think, one of my first ones to be my guest on that. And so without any further delay, welcome Steph from Cyclebar in Culver City on Sepulveda. How are you today, Steph?
Thank you, Rafia. Thank you, Candance. I'm good. Happy Monday. Beautiful Monday today.
It is. It really is.
So for those of people that are watching who have not heard about you yet, why don't you tell them a little bit about your business and about how you got started in it?
Sure. So I'm Steph from Cyclebar, Culver City and Santa Monica. We are Culver City's premier indoor cycling studio. We promote health and wellness and create amazing experiences all on a bike that goes nowhere. We're located on Sepulveda and Washington Boulevard. We've been open for, it'll be 4 years this coming March. So this year has been a little bit different. We've been operating outdoors since the pandemic since we were allowed to reopen after quarantine. So 6 months now, right outside our studio in the parking lot, and still going strong. But as far as how I got into the business, gosh, it's kind of a crazy long story, so I'll shorten it up as much as I can. But I came from the film industry. I worked for about 20 years in TV and film, and just sort of found that I was getting really involved in cycling and my personal health and wellness, and people saw a change in me and saw just that I'd really kind of flipped my life around and were asking me what was I doing and asking for advice and whatnot. And I started racing as well. In triathlons, and I just, found that I was working to support my fitness habit, and I decided, I kind of needed a change in my life and really wanted to become a business owner and an entrepreneur. And I always have a hard time saying that word, entrepreneur. Right. So I kind of looked around and of all my interests and what I love to do, and just decided that I wanted to make fitness a part of my life. I'd done the AIDS ride, the bike ride from San Francisco to LA several times. And really just the experience from that, every time I finished it, and I've done it 10 times now, every time I did it, I tried to take that sense of community and working together and philanthropy, and just really, it's an incredible experience. And I would finish and then try to bring that into my life for the rest of the year. And that's sort of what I've done with Cyclebar, is just created this place where people can come and work out and but still find connections with people that they never really would have found a connection with before, and find a community that really supported people on their journeys, their fitness journeys, whatever level they were in, and at wherever level they were at, and support them, and just really make sure that I had a space where everybody was welcome.
Wow. Yeah, there's nothing like your gym family. Nothing, nothing.
Nothing like it.
What workout you're doing, they become your family because they
Yes.
see your struggle and encourage you to do better.
Totally. Especially now. I mean, I have so many people that tell me that, they work from home all day, they go to Trader Joe's and they come to Cyclebar. And really, I'm just so proud that we're able to have a space where people feel safe and, we're following all the safety protocols. And it's really, it's been hard, but it's been an amazing 6 months keeping everyone safe and healthy. And, just being able to have a space too where people can see other people and connect.
Right.
And, because that human aspect has just been so hard on everyone these last 7-8 months now. So
you mentioned early on, there are a couple things that you mentioned, and I was like, okay, where do I go? But you mentioned that during the pandemic, the phrase that everyone's familiar with is pivot. And you mentioned it's been about 6 months. So when the pandemic hit, were you able to go outside immediately, or how long were you closed? And right after that, what did you do? Because I saw you do some amazing things.
Yeah. No, it was pretty incredible. So we closed back on my birthday on March 16th. And also it was our 3-year anniversary of the studio.
Wow.
So I had about a week and a half or so because we really only thought that we were going to be shut down for 2 or 3 weeks. So after the first 2 weeks, we learned that we were going to be shut a lot longer. So, I have a pretty high rent and had to figure out what to do in order to survive and also just keep our community moving because it was such a big deal to just shut down. As people come to my studio 5, 6, 7 times a week. So, to have that just torn away from them was really difficult. So what we did was we rented out all of our bikes so that people could have bikes at home. Started filming virtual classes and provided that to the folks that had bikes at home. We're a franchise, so our corporate office started an online streaming platform as well that was a little more widespread. And we were shut down. So March 16th till June 27th. April, May, June. So a good solid 3 months. And when we reopened, we had to recall a lot of the bikes back so that we had enough to open. We couldn't open at full capacity based on the different social distancing with bikes. Right. So we had about a little less than half the bikes in the studio. And after, I think, 10 to 14 days, they shut down all indoor operations at fitness studios. So immediately, in fact, it was actually same day, we found out around 11 or 12 o'clock, the governor made the announcement. And within 3 hours, I had all the bikes outside in both of my studios. Ready to go. And so we just started doing classes outdoors and it was crazy. We got a lot of press from it, which was great. So people were aware of what we were doing. And I think it inspired a lot of other fitness studios to go outside and just take advantage if they had the space to go out and continue doing what they had to do. Safety is a huge concern for me. I mean, I have parents that I, obviously don't want to pass on anything to them. And, the safety of my riders, the safety of my staff was really important. So we all just kind of regrouped and figured out how we could operate and follow all the guidelines and make sure that we were creating a safe space. But so we've been outside since July, it was 10th or so, somewhere around that, and been outside ever since. We've only had one day of crazy rain, wind and rain, and we still open.
Yeah, I was so impressed by that, the fact that you were able to quickly, come up with the plan to rent out your bikes to your members, because we share a few clients, and I know Brandy was happy to have her bike at home, and so that was so awesome. And I shared it with a couple of folks in terms of what you were doing and what Pure Bar was doing as well, how you guys were able to quickly pivot. And what you do is so important to our mental health, that it was wonderful that you were able to make those connections and pivot.
Is it a lot of work to put the bikes out every day and bring them back in?
It is. We've kind of gotten the hang of it, but 4 times a day we're in and out.
Oh, 4 times a day?
Well, because we bring them out in the morning, and then we bring them back in, and then we bring them out at the evening, and then we bring them back in because we're a working parking lot. There's a lot of other things in the center, so we don't want to take away those spaces from the other businesses in the center. So yeah, we have to drag them out. They weigh about 110 pounds each. Luckily,
wow.
they have wheels on them, but you do have to kind of direct them around, and it's not the smoothest parking lot. The spots are actually like a cobblestone, so it's a lot of
well, that's
jarring.
dedication for sure.
Yes. How was it, Steph, in terms of getting a permit or getting approval to go outside? Because I know that was part of in the Raintree Plaza with Club Pilates. That took some time, but it seems like you were able to quickly move forward with that.
Yeah, it's funny because I had actually, luckily, I had been speaking about it with my landlord even prior to it happening. When everything was just the unknown and we didn't really know what was happening, there was talks about gatherings and how big the gatherings could be and whatnot. And not that we were trying to find a loophole, but we were trying to see if there was a way that we could operate during quarantine before we were given the okay to open. And we never did it because I didn't quite feel comfortable with doing it, but I had already spoken to the landlord about it. So when it happened, it literally was just a phone call to him. And I said, we got to do it. And he said, okay. So, he's on private property, so I was able to do that. But Culver City, both the cities worked very quickly to open up the temporary use permits for outdoors. So that wasn't the roadblock. Luckily, because I had already had the conversation with him, it was really easy. And, I'm just fortunate my background was in logistical production. So, I knew how to think quick and pivot and just come up with, okay, I put my production hat on and we were like, let's do this. It was the summertime, so it was quite warm. Right. So I put out a post on Instagram asking if anyone had any pop-up tents. And I had a bunch of writers and people just say, me. So I drove around town and picked up pop-up tents. And I basically turned my staff into, a bunch of production assistants, showing them how to pop up the tents and work like we were putting together a TV show. And it worked. And everyone got a little muscles this summer too. We from all the heavy lifting.
Well, yeah,
it was a good workout for us.
Even every day you're getting that workout, just getting those bikes outside and getting them back in.
Yeah, it's funny. I turn on my Apple Watch and try to close a exercise ring whenever I'm carrying bikes out. You burn about 50 calories.
So one of the things that I caught on to what you were saying early on was how this was something that affected you personally with your own health and stuff. So I've met you several times, and you're a tiny and so petite, and I just can't imagine that you had any like weight issues or anything, because you have a wonderful physique on you. And I was just wondering, did you notice a big change of how you went from like maybe size wise or even just weight wise?
During the pandemic or prior to opening up Cyclebar? Oh, okay. I'm like, during the pandemic, yes.
During the pandemic, we're not going to talk about that. We got a pandemic past.
Yeah, well, I guess it kind of started when I went away to college. I definitely hit that freshman 15, maybe give or take an extra 10. So yeah, I had probably put on about 25 pounds or so while I was in college. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're 4'10", that is about 50. So yeah, I just kind of struggled with that college weight that never came off, and just going right into the workforce and working in TV production, long hours and 6-7 days a week.
Food.
Catering, craft services, and when you're just out of college and you have free food at your work, it benefits you to kind of eat double, because then you don't have to eat later, but then you get a second meal. So it didn't even out very well. And yeah, no, my journey with that, I kind of had a moment one day. I used to live in New York, and right after college, and I lived on a 5-story walk-up. There aren't that many apartment buildings with elevators in them unless you can afford them. And I certainly couldn't when I was 23 years old. And I was going up up my flights of stairs, just carrying some of my groceries, and I could not make it to the top. And I had to stop at every level. And I was just like, I got to my apartment one day and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I got to get control of myself and just value myself and, take a step back and realize that work is important, but your health, if you don't have it, there's nothing else.
Right.
It's the most important thing. So I started getting into running and then biking and then swimming, and that all turned into triathlon. But it was a long journey. I mean, this is from starting when I was probably 25 till I would say I didn't actually get everything in order till I was in my early 30s, mid-30s or so. So now as I'm navigating through the world of the 40s and the next venture.
Next chapter.
So did you notice, so when you started doing the cycling, did you notice, like, did the weight come off first, or did you notice like a change in your size? But
it's such a great workout. Cycling is so wonderful because it's low impact. And so unlike with running where you're just pounding on your knees, and as much as I love running, it's not really that good for you. I mean, it is, it's great for you, but if you're not running correctly, yes. And especially if you have extra weight on you. And with cycling, I mean, it's such a great calorie blaster. But the important thing is, no matter how many calories you're burning, it's also what you put into your body as well. So once I became conscious of that, it just sort of changes your body because you're using your legs so much. Right. And because I was training for the AIDS ride originally, that's an endurance event, I'd be out on the road for 6-7 hours. And so that's a long time, and you can burn a lot of calories. So yeah, I mean, I did see when I got my diet dialed in, because that was kind of the missing link of everything. I was, people they didn't understand sometimes when they're like, wow, you work out so much. Mm-hmm. I was like, what are you trying to say? But yeah, I'd work out a lot and then I'd eat a lot. So I finally dialed that in and figured out what was important to eat before, during, and after training. And that's when I really started to see my body make changes. And, I feel like I can bounce back a lot faster now too, especially, I think we all hit that COVID. Don't need to even say what it was, right. How we're all plus. COVID-19. Yeah. And so, once it's a lot easier to bounce back once you figure out what equation needs to work best for you and your body. But yeah, I love cycling.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. If you do a program, then like what you're saying is like you could eat what you wanted to eat almost. And still work out and maintain. But first you have to lose what you want to lose, But I think also the issue is that a lot of people just do cardio and they don't really lose the weight, even if they are dieting and just doing the cardio. So there is some of that, resistance stuff that you have to do in order to get to that weight that you want to get to. Would you agree? Or is that something?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, it's good that you brought that up, because the way that we structure our classes, the format, it's not just spinning as fast as you can for 45 minutes. We make sure that we include, it's basically HIIT training, high intense interval training on a bike. So we make sure that we add the resistance on, that you're hill climbing, you're doing those intervals to spike your heart rate up and get you into those fat burning zones versus just the calorie burning zones as well. So there is a lot of work that was put into the structure of the classes. And like I said, it's not just like, oh, this song sounds good and let's ride fast. There's actually a format to the class to make sure that you're getting the best workout that you can possibly get. And obviously, we welcome all levels. And, when you start out, you might be keeping it on the lower end. But what's great about cycling and with our bikes, there's a resistance knob. So as you get better and feel more comfortable, you can turn the resistance on and start making it more difficult for you to match, how your body's changing and just getting the hang of it and feeling comfortable on the bike.
Absolutely. And Candance has been doing these wonderful long walks. But what I wanted to point out was that recently, I think it was not that long ago, she posted, because she walks with different people, and she was walking with David and Jason, and I think they got her doing some push-ups and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Initially, when I started walking, people would want to invite themselves, and I go, no, I'm okay, because I knew they'd come with something new. And started walking with Jason and David. David and I are really about the same level, but Jason is like up here. So he's like, well, okay, Candance, what are your goals? I told him, and then he started adding these things based on what I told him my goals were. So it's been great. They've had me do push-ups. They had me in the cemeteries at Rose Hill Cemetery, walking hills. We've walked stairs. So, it's one of those things when you let your friends know what your goals are, they help you get there. Even though you don't need to be there right now. I'm okay.
Workout buddies, accountability buddies are very, very important to help you push yourself even further. I like finding people that are better than I am so that they push me. I'm always chasing them.
Maybe Candance, you could do half the week at, Steph Sklar-Mulcahy and half the week walking.
I've known Steph for probably, I want to say about 2, maybe almost 3 years. And I've always said I was going to come to the class. So when this is
holding you to it,
when this is over, Steph, I'm going to come and see you. I agree. The cycle classes, which we've talked about, are amazing. They're really great for getting you in shape. I have gone to spin classes, burn cycle, and various classes over the period of years that I've said I'm getting fit. And cycling has always been one of the ones that I'm like, wow. Just like you said, it's conditioning, and it takes you up levels, and it gets into those heart rates. So it's an amazing workout. Probably one of the best ones, is for all the things that you said. Low impact to your knees. I've worked out and taken a spin class, and I've had an injury, so it was the only thing I could do. So yeah, it's great for that.
Yeah, and our instructors are so fantastic. It's not just the physical workout. They all just have such amazing things to say to inspire you to keep going. And, I think that also, I think, sets us apart from other studios, because my staff just cares. They care about every single person, and they're real, and they're willing to be vulnerable up there and share what they're going through. And I think that, especially now, people are just, like we talked about before, they're just really missing that human connection and interaction. And, that is something that they're just so good at. And, they just really make everybody, just take a moment. And, even though they're moving, that you can sit still and reflect. And, we're all going through such a difficult time right now, but for, that time that we have them in the class, they can actually, they can thank themselves for, showing up. They can, be proud of themselves for something they did today, and it's not just like, okay, I woke up and I sat at my kitchen table and worked all day. It's like, no, I'm going to commit to taking some time and going somewhere and taking that me time, which I think is just so important right now, because, some people, there's some days that, you don't go outside your front door, and it's hard to get that motivation to go. And so, if you can get out there and come on out, I know that we're definitely one of those places where you can exercise your mind and your body.
I think you hit a really good point, because especially during this year, it's not just your physical health, it's your mental health that's really important as well, and your emotional health too, because there's a lot of emotions that we are packing in with all of this stuff, that we are not, interacting with people. I mean, I didn't go to the grocery store for the first 3 months of this lockdown. And just that interaction between a stranger that's waiting on me and checking me out, check my groceries through, that was something that I missed so much. Like, I remember the first time I went, someone, hi, how are you today? I was like, wow, I've really missed hearing that, So I do agree. We have to do all of it, to take care of our mental health as well as our physical.
Yeah.
And it's so great, Steph, looking at your various trainers, you can tell that they all have different and very unique personalities. And when you're working out, you tend to find your way to that personality fit. Either it's opposite, so you need someone that's going to encourage you, push you, or it's someone that kind of soothes your mood to say, okay, this is a good match for me. You've managed a great group of folks.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been interesting because one of my instructors became pregnant during quarantine. And so people have watched her, through her entire pregnancy. And one of my writers as well, it happened around the same time. So watching the two of them, and they're just go through their whole journey, it's been so inspiring for everyone just to see. And, it's great. We've had a lot of women that have spun with us throughout their pregnancies. And I mean, they're so incredible. I have so much, I'm just in awe, and they look amazing as well. So, as long as their doctor says it's okay to do it, come on down and spin it.
There's no pressure. They're pregnant and carrying another human being, and we're not cycling yet.
I mean, that's, just being pregnant, you get so tired, and, you don't have all that energy, plus morning sickness and all of that. That's really, that's amazing.
It's been inspirational. People commented all the time because, Jules, she teaches in the morning and in the evenings. And so people see her out there and they're just like, whoa, I didn't think you could do that. And so they find it very inspirational.
Speaking of inspirational stuff, so I have to tell you that during the time in which I was coming into the chamber, I've always saw you as an inspiration, as a woman in business.
Oh, thank you.
You're so positive and encouraging. You always bring that upbeat energy, even to our morning mixers when it was 7 a.m. you were high energy. And I was like, can you go up there? And I'm not awake yet, but you were just smiling. And I watched you during the Women in Business Luncheon receive the award. And that was inspiring to me. I saw your bag circulating throughout the chamber saying, meet me at the bar, at the Cyclebar. And I was like, wow, go Steph. And in this moment, to be a business owner and know the stress that the closures and adjusting and pivoting and, all of that has had on all of us as small business owners, to see you pivot so quickly. You mentioned you reached into your production hat and started producing. It looked like it was a fine-tuned machine, because when I saw you renting bikes to your members, that's such an interesting moment. And it was so ingenious of you to do, but it also continued to build community with your riders. And also, I'm like, did she open another location in the midst of a pandemic? Please tell us how you did that, because that too, again, it's like, we're trying to manage one location as a brick and mortar and how to pivot and go online and things of that nature and all of the things that you have to do, and to see that you now have another location. How do you do it? What's your motivating factor?
Gosh, I would love to go to sleep at some point. That's just gone out the window. No.
You're a board member for the Culver City Chamber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot. Business committee. I mean, come on, Steph. What's your secret? We need a bike. Rafia, we need to cycle. That's the secret.
That's exactly it. You got to keep moving. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, we kind of have a running joke of that we'll sleep when we're dead, but,
Right.
it's just, me personally, I have to always be doing something. I have a hard time sitting still. So,
I'm with you.
yeah, I just, staying motivated and being able to do all this. I mean, to me, it's because I love it so much, and I love the community, and my writers and my staff, they fuel me and make me want to stay. I don't have room for failure on this. I have to figure out how to make it work because it just means so much to me. I mean, I feel like people show up for me. Well, I have to show up for them. I mean, that's the commitment that I've made. And, I left a very successful career to do this. And so I'm not just going to say, well, the pandemic has hit, that's it, I'm going to throw it in the toilet. And, a lot of people don't have businesses that are able to do something like that. I fortunately have been able to find a way, which is also kind of my mantra of just find a way. We just got to get her done.
Right.
And, it's just been one of those, I don't know. I had a friend the other day, we were bike riding, and she asked me, like, what do you do to kind of release everything? And how are you kind of coping with all this? And, I just kind of said to her that being able to help other people, because I really do feel like I'm of service by being open, because it's so important to look after yourself in times like this. It's not about just shutting your door and hiding inside. You have to feed into your health and wellness, or your mental and physical health. And I told my friend that, I feel better when I'm helping people, and that refuels me. So it's just kind of one of those things that, if I didn't do this, what would I do? I have no idea. And so it's the thing that keeps me going is, my community.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
Great answer.
You're welcome.
We are this half hour mark, a little bit beyond. And so this is generally when we ask the question that you just answered. And it's like, what motivates you? And you definitely shared it, your community and how they show up for you. So that was awesome. Rafia, do you want to share what's motivating you this week?
Well, I have to say that I am going to take this week for self-care, and been through a lot this last week. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to, take care of me.
Yes. Connect with yourself. Exactly. We're sending you warm hugs over there as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
what about you, Candance? What's motivating you for this week?
So my motivation this week is it's here. Christmas is here. So generally at this time, we're planning events, and I'm hosting various holiday parties for my Morenistas. And a Morenista is a mature woman who dresses for her body type and her lifestyle. She doesn't follow a fashion trend. She is on trend with herself in terms of her lifestyle and showing up very fashionable and how she needs to. So this week, this will be my game week. So I'm actually going to be open 7 days a week. This will be the first Sunday that I'm open. And generally I do 2 Sundays out of the year during December, but we're going to be open this week. And my goal is to help my clients take care of their holiday shopping. We brought in some great little novelty things that folks were asking for, stocking stuffers. So your stocking stuffer is great, Steph. Buy 3 classes and get 1 free. So our stocking stuffers have been the various mugs and calendars and things that we brought in. They sold out as soon as I brought them in last week. So they'll be back in tomorrow. So really just gearing up for a week of helping folks complete their holiday shopping. Interestingly, the men have started shopping early. So, ladies, they have been listening to your requests and what you're asking for. So, they've already started to show up and take care of their holiday shopping. So, that's
Isn't that awesome? That's
it
great.
is. It is. And they come in and they're so excited. Like one of them, it was so funny. He said, my wife told me she saw something here. And so I'm here to pick it up. And I'm like, yeah, great. And he thought it was his original idea, but the wife had already implanted the seed. And so
that's so funny.
Be here. And he thought it was a surprise. And I was chuckling like, no, we planned this. Hi, come on in.
That's a great idea. I love that.
I got a call a little while ago before we got on live from a guy also who wants to come and, get something for his wife. He's already got it picked out. He's going to send me a picture.
Awesome. Yeah, you love it. And men are so interesting. They're in and out. They come, they pick it up, and they're gone. So they know what they want.
I wonder, do you find that with people working from home that they have a little more time to come in and shop? So they're not as the ones that aren't running in to buy a gift and leave. Are they spending a little more time?
Yeah, it's interesting because when we were closed, I was going virtual. And so what I'm finding now is people are definitely at home. I was trying to be sensitive to their situation financially. It's like if you're trying to find toilet paper, you're not really looking for leggings because you're wearing them every day. But my clients are like, no, we want to see what's in the store. And so recently I started doing Take 5 with me. So I go on live and I share 5 items in 5 minutes or less because I don't want it to be this long, drawn out experience. And that has worked really well.
That's so cool. I love the way that you connect with your community with all your videos, and it's so great.
Thank you. Yeah. And they're fun. They're a lot of fun. And the comments when they go back and forth, oh no, I want that. How did you get there before me? But the ones to your question, Steph, that do decide to come out and we follow all the protocols, they do spend a little longer time here because like Rafia said, it's that human interaction that they long for. So they may come in and they came in to pick up something. I've even offered to bring it out to their car and they're like, oh no, I'm coming in. I said, okay, well, great. If that's what you want to do. So, yeah.
That's cute.
That's great. I'm glad that we've all figured out a way to continue even through this time, and I think that's key that you do that in any business or in anything, you just have to figure out a way to just keep going, keep moving forward.
And speaking of figuring it out, oh no, go ahead, Steph.
Oh, I was just going to say, like having other businesses to look up to, or just to see people being so innovative, it's so helpful and inspiring. And the more we can kind of connect together and work together, it just makes us so much stronger and just gives us the confidence to try something out of the box.
Exactly. We need all the inspiration and motivation to keep going and keep moving forward. This is definitely a year in the books that none of us want to relive, first of all, but we are just, look at Candance is changing things to just get through the holiday season where this is our time. Candance in my business, this is the time where we make most of our money. This is the final quarter.
Super Bowl.
And it's just, it is what it is, but we are still going forward,
Exactly. Yeah. So speaking of making things happen, I've been very thankful. We've been thankful for the chamber and all of the different things that, the chambers had to pivot and go virtual as well. So today there's actually the COVID-19 business roundtable that's taking place today, as I mentioned, from 2:30 to 3:30. And it's an opportunity for us to hear from the mayor, hear from various council members, and call in to say, hey, here's what we need to do to keep the businesses moving forward. These are the various changes, and how do we ensure that we, can implement those things. So it's a great roundtable discussion. It's open to everyone. So we encourage you to join us today at 2:30.
Perfect.
Cool. If I can jump in and plug the chamber really fast, I don't know what I would have done without without the Culver City Chamber during this time. The support that I've gotten, and just being able to like call Colin, and just say, what do I do? And he said, I don't know, but let's figure it out. Just being able to have someone that has, that knows who to reach out to. I know some people that work for the city, but I don't have that direct line to the mayor, so to speak, or
Right.
just the different departments. It has been so invaluable during this time, and I can't thank the Culver City Chamber enough. And it's funny because, I have other friends that own businesses, and I always tell them, I say, go to your chamber, go to your chamber and see, join the chamber. And they're like, I don't know if my chamber is as good as your chamber. And I'm like, well, probably not. But
Come on over. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think that we have a great chamber, and I think we have a great leader that is leading the chamber. So, with all those, and I've really enjoyed being an ambassador and doing all these things and using this platform to also encourage and help other businesses. It's been a wonderful experience.
Yes.
Really has.
That's awesome.
Do we have another event this week?
We do. It's another virtual mixer. It's a holiday mixer, and it's on December 17th from 5 to 6:30. And this is one of the things I've appreciated about being in the pandemic, is that how we've been able to engage with other chambers. So this mixer, it's a joint mixer with the LAX Coastal Chamber, along with Culver City, of course, and the Torrance Area Chamber. So it's a speed networking event. So you can go online at www.culvercitychamber.com and register. Looks like there's going to be prizes, a round trip airfare courtesy of Southwest. There's going to be a ugly sweater contest. There's a door prize and some type of special entertainment and more. So I've enjoyed going to the various mixers and meeting folks that I would have never gotten on the 405 and drove to Century City to be a part of. But I don't mind clicking a button and joining and meeting folks. So that's been one of the silver linings of the pandemic.
Yes, there are some benefits to all of this,
Right.
Yes. There's a lot of like smaller, more intimate conversations, and even though the large gatherings can't happen, I totally miss live music so much. But there has been some really, really great, wonderful things to come out of it as well. So I'm doing my 12 Days of Kindness challenge starting today. So if you can look at Culver City Kind, I will be picking a winner every night. And so all you have to do is make comments under my post of telling me something that you did as a random act of kindness. And your name will go into a box. And if you do many, then your name will go into the box many times. And I've got new hashtag CC Kind masks that I'm giving away. Yeah. So to everybody who's winning. So please join my 12 Days of Kindness on Culver City Kind. I really appreciate it. I got started a little late, but it's still going to lead me to Christmas Day. So I'm still, right there in it. Usually I start on the 1st, but this year has been a little different. So I'm starting today. So if you guys want to encourage, I hope you two will join. And, I already posted today, so if you can find my post for today and see if you can help me out with that, that would be great.
Yes, we must be kind, especially
definitely.
Exactly. And the idea is kindness is contagious, right?
Yes.
So if you tell me something that you did, that will inspire me to do something, and hopefully then I will inspire someone else to do something. So that's the whole idea of the whole thing, is just to inspire people to spread more kindness.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right.
Okay, so are we at that point where we're saying goodbye?
We are. We're at that point. We can leave on a kind note. I think our folks have been encouraged and motivated. I know I have. And again, Steph, thank you for being our guest today. We really appreciate you sharing all about Cyclebar and just how you've been able to move forward in the pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you, ladies.
It's a pleasure. Go see Steph at Cyclebar on Sepulveda.
And get your stocking stuffers. Buy 3 classes, get 1 free. Woohoo!
Yep, it's a great deal.
Right for me. Right for me.
All right for you. I'll save one. I'll save a stocking stuffer for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day.
Have a great
Bye,
week.
guys.